Hey, welcome back to the Podcasting Problem Solver. I'm Leah Bryant, producer and your no-fluff, results-focused growth coach who helps you turn your podcast into a powerful marketing tool without the overwhelm. Let me ask you a quick question. Ever feel like you're pouring all this time and energy into your podcast, but still not seeing the growth or the impact you were hoping for? Maybe your downloads are steady, but you're not quite sure how to make your show stand out or how to get discovered by more of the right people. Well, friend, you're not alone. And in today's episode, I'm sharing a real-life coaching session with Rafer Owens Jr., a master mindset coach, speaker, and creator of the Simple Shift Method, a practical framework that helps people get unstuck and move forward on purpose. Through coaching, courses, and honest conversation, Rafer's known for breaking big ideas into bite-sized steps that make real change possible, all delivered with his signature humor, storytelling, and heart. His podcast, Shifts and Giggles, is a personal growth show that helps listeners make intentional, lasting change one small mindset shift at a time. Rooted in his simple method, it's packed with practical tools, self-awareness strategies, and a healthy dose of humor to help you move forward with confidence. Now, in this coaching session, we dive into refining his podcast by adding a trailer, boosting discoverability with SEO, and turning that steady flow of downloads into real sustainable growth. Whether you're just starting out or already have a few episodes under your belt, you're going to find so many practical takeaways to implement on your own show. Sound good? Let's dive in. Okay, sir. So thank you so much for taking time out to do this. I really appreciate it.
Heck yeah.
And it's very nice to meet you. I had a lot of fun listening to your podcast and doing all the research for it. It's really great. I think you have a great foundation. And with a few tweaks, I feel like it's really going to be super impactful.
Heck yeah. That's awesome.
Yes. Okay. So the first thing that I want to ask you is, I know that you have the very first episode of Welcome, and it's 11 minutes.
Yes.
Do you think that you could maybe take a portion of that and make it a trailer, this less than 3 minutes?
Yes.
So the reason why I say this is my favorite part, because when you have a trailer, and in Buzzsprout, you can label it trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can show you where to do that if you don't know. But it's a very small commitment for people to get to know you, what the podcast is going to be about, and how and what they can learn from the podcast. And in listening to the 11-minute episode, there's a lot of good pieces in there that you could probably take out and just kind of think about how it could fit together to kind of give a holistic view of the podcast.
Got it.
In a short amount of time.
Got it. I never thought of that.
Yeah. It's okay.
No.
And then in your episode descriptions, have
Yes.
the link to purchase your book.
Mm-hmm.
Does that have all the links in there?
Yes, I have. Linktree has everything.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, everything.
I don't mean this in a negative way, but people are lazy sometimes.
Completely.
So I would even extract Instagram and put, follow me on Instagram and have Instagram so that we can just click it. The less clicks, the better.
Right.
And that way that's easy enough they could go straight to or wherever you want them to follow you.
Okay.
Or you have the most engagement, stuff like that. I know you're on TikTok.
Yeah.
And YouTube and Instagram. I mean, technically you could list all three if you wanted to, but whatever one you really want to push them to, I would take that out and put it on there underneath your link tree.
That makes sense.
And I would, in Buzzsprout, they have that standard footer. You could actually put it
Yes.
on every episode.
Yes.
If that's where you have you can put it down there.
Okay.
Okay. I love your cover art, but
Yeah.
The thing about podcast titles, I'm not going to ask you to change the title because I think it's clever. And I'm going to show my screen.
Okay.
If you add a tagline, because Shifts and Giggles doesn't tell me exactly what the podcast is about.
Fair.
So if we add a tagline about what it is and who it's for, it will really kind of help people see that.
Got it.
And kind of did a little mock-up.
I love this.
Of what it could look like. I had 2 different ones.
Okay.
So I was trying to think of what would be a good tagline and SEO, because the big thing is about organic discoverability, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want to focus on that first to get people to come to your podcast so they can work with you. The accents that you have, the arrow And then like the laugh, you could save those for your social media posts.
Got it.
And then like just keep the cover really clean. So your title is giant.
Mhm.
And then like whatever tagline you want to use, it's in your other color and it's at the
Yeah.
bottom. So this is very clear. And your name is going to show in the podcast player regardless. You don't necessarily need that on your cover art. It just
Got it.
takes up valuable space.
That makes sense.
And then here's the other option. Like just trying to like think about.
Yeah.
And the reason why I wanted to show you this is because and forgive me, I took a screenshot of this, but so
No,
this
you're
is what it kind
welcome.
of looks like now, like when you're in the players with other podcasts
Mhm.
versus like this one.
Ah,
Do you see the difference of like how it just pops out at you?
yeah.
You're like, "Oh, yeah, I wanna see what this one is." Because your title is gonna catch their eye,
Yes.
and then, like, the tagline is gonna tell them, like, what it's about.
Got it.
And you could obviously change the colors however you want that to be.
Yeah.
I just thought the blue was softer and it wasn't gonna be super, like, distracting from the title or from
Right.
you, so
I love this.
good. And I can share this website with you too, but it's really great where you can see it in all the players and what it would look like.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I think just those few tweaks would definitely help, like, just make it more attractive. Not that it's not now, but it just makes it clarity, really.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And then the next thing that I wanna talk about is SEO. So how familiar are you with SEO?
I am not at all. My brain has gotten over you know how when you learn a new acronym and you like
Mhm.
through the letters every time? My brain has finally stopped doing that, which is awesome. So that's where I am with SEO.
I love it.
Yeah.
So with SEO, it works a lot like it does in Google as far as, like, in your podcast players of being able to help your podcast be more findable.
Right.
Things you wanna think about are, like, what kind of keywords would correlate with my podcast that would help folks who are going into the players, maybe typing, like they could be, like, a couple of words together, one word together,
Yeah.
and I'm just gonna share my screen again because I feel like it might be easier too. So far sorry about that.
No, I love that. I love seeing it.
Okay, good. I didn't have your original description. Let's pull it up really quick here. Well, it's not horrible. I feel like we can make it even better.
I love it.
Right? So what I did was we put, like, what the podcast is, and obviously you can go in and tweak all of this, and then you're rooted because of your method
Yes.
and, like, kinda like what that
Yes.
is, and then what you're providing. Now the next big thing is, like, what questions are people asking about your topic or theme, like the top Google questions, and, like,
Yeah.
kinda focus those by putting them in here because when you do that, that's also gonna help pull in the SEO.
Mhm.
And then, like, the ending here, like, if you're looking for this. Actually, it doesn't have I think I inadvertently deleted that. Oh, I did. Okay, so there should be also another paragraph here that says, "Hi, I'm Rafer, and
Small
I'm a" yeah,
introduction.
certified mindset coach, right?
Yes.
And, like, just a little snippet about you. And so that way they get to know what the podcast is, your method, a little about you, and then, like, what they're gonna get. These questions, they're gonna be answered,
Got it.
okay? And then the next thing is, like, your titles. Now, this is specifically for episode I think it was 2? I think it's this one because you talked about the simple shift here. Not that this title is bad,
Yes.
but when we think about what people may be searching for, like how to shift your mindset, definitely. And then you put in your method here.
Yes.
And this works because it includes the keywords, and it's gonna give them a takeaway, right? Because it's a method that they can apply.
Right.
And then it's speaking directly to, like, their transformation.
Yes.
And then as far as, like, your episode description, you could probably beef it up a little bit more by adding some keywords that are specific to this episode. You could do that with each one.
Got it.
So what I always suggest is to, like, think about what words are gonna highlight the topic you're talking about in that episode
Mm.
and kinda build out from there.
Okay.
Do you have any questions so far?
No, I love this. This is, yeah, my brain is a flower opening up.
Okay. In all the good ways, hopefully.
That's the best way to explain them.
I love it.
Yeah. Love this.
In Buzzsprout,
Yes.
under podcast info, there's a next little tab. I think it says advanced. And on that page, there's a section where you could put keywords.
Yes.
So I would think about like the keywords that you want of the podcast as a whole,
Mm-hmm.
and then put those in there because that will also help with discoverability.
Got it.
And I think you can have up to 12. I think it's 255 characters.
Okay.
So kind of just like think about that. These are just the ones that I had found like when I was doing some research about what would be great.
Okay.
Obviously, you can change these if none of these fit your brand or what you have in mind.
Got it.
And then right now, it looked like you had, because I couldn't tell 100%, but it looked like you have self-improvement and education as categories.
I couldn't tell you. I know self-improvement for sure.
Okay. So these are really important because this is if people are searching for those keywords or
Yeah.
you were going to show up in like kind of like those categories.
Got it.
So like these are the ones that I would recommend you be in. You can have up to 3. And the third one you could almost do maybe education how to,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you could do like self-improvement. I would definitely have mental health in there because I feel like you as a certified mindset coach that definitely falls underneath of that.
Yeah.
And then like the third one you could do the education how to maybe.
Okay.
Or if you ever have guests and are sharing personal stories, you could do the society and culture personal journals. But I would definitely at least make sure that these 2
Got it.
are in there.
That makes so much sense.
Now, I know in your intake form, you talked about you're using clips, and I love what you're doing as far as like doing push ups
Mm-hmm.
for the number of downloads. I think that that's brilliant. Or the cities. Yeah, the cities for the push ups. I think that's brilliant. But I didn't see a lot of other, and I know that it's hard because you're a dad and you work and all the
Yeah.
things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, even if you just did a couple of other little things, I think that it could also help. So, what Adam teaches us in the course is like there is a 72-hour rule, which
Mhm.
is, we want to drive as much traffic to your podcast within those first 72 hours of it launching.
Got it.
Like if you publish on Thursday,
Mhm.
you might even want to think about because your target audience is basically anyone.
Yes.
Thursday is fine, but maybe Wednesday might be better, but we'll go with the Thursday. That's fine. So, like having a carousel post
Mhm.
that has like takeaways. And I kind of did this for episode 2.
Okay.
This would be like the title, and then like slide 2 would tell you this, and then slide 3 would tell you that. And like it doesn't have to be fancy, it could just be a blue background with your wording on it, or that's where you could pull in the accents. But then, like, each slide would break down, like, a takeaway and then have a really good call to action.
I love it.
And then another thought too is another carousel, maybe on, like, the 3rd or 4th day after the episode is live that talks about they say mistakes. I don't like the negative connotation that comes with mistakes.
Yeah.
It doesn't work with me, so I love opportunities.
I agree.
So if there's some kind of opportunity from that episode that your listener could take away,
Mhm.
then you can make a carousel about that. It's just essentially, like, more ways of people
Yeah.
finding you on
Yeah.
your socials. I think the reels are great. Like, those snippets that you're pulling from the episodes are fabulous. What you're doing with the push-ups is fabulous.
Mhm.
But these are maybe some ideas that you could do after, like, maybe the push-ups are over.
Yeah, this part was
Hardest.
it's the hardest one. I only follow, like, 60 accounts on Instagram.
Mhm.
So, already it's such a finite time for me when I am online. Um,
Mhm.
so even getting to a place to promote is so crazy in my mind, which I'm like, "Well, Rafer, you wrote a whole book about how to walk through crazy things, so
Yeah.
figure this out," you know?
Yeah.
But this is the tool that I need for sure, yeah, to really get this ball rolling.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you have, like, an email list or anything that you're also utilizing?
Not currently, in short, no.
It may be a great thing to do for people who purchase the book,
Mhm.
or also if you have, like, a lead magnet.
Yeah, we're working on that right now.
Mhm.
That's coming at June, beginning of the month.
Awesome.
Yeah, that is coming.
Perfect. So you said you don't want to be salesy and you're not
Yeah.
creative enough to produce content easily.
Mhm.
So what do you mean by content is an afterthought?
Um,
Is that like the episode itself?
No, the episodes are fine. I pastored a church for a long time.
Uh-huh.
I grew up, my dad's a pastor, my mom's a preacher. Like, talking is easy. Uh,
Uh-huh.
and Riverside has made producing the episodes very easy.
Yes, love represent.
Yeah, all of the reels, all of that has been so easy. It's the everything between recording and legitimately posting around the episodes themselves.
Uh-huh.
And so things like carousels, this push-up situation is pretty easy because I just got to do some push-ups and talk about the podcast every week or every day. But I have a friend, she built her social media following and she talks about it like it's air. She's like, I love doing this. It's so easy. And I'm like that with words.
Uh-huh.
I can pull and make metaphors and analogies and they just pop up. I explained music theory to a lady who had no idea. She was like, well, I mean, if the notes are the notes, can't you just sing the note? I was like, it's not like that. And I built this whole situation to explain music theory to her. She's like,
That's
hey.
amazing.
And I was like, yeah, that's what it is, But I cannot do that. It does not come very easy to me. Just thoughts of content. I'm like, I just want to help people. And that's it. I just want to show up and talk and high five some people and we all go home.
Right.
Uh,
I think that the SEO really focusing on that
mhm.
is gonna help with that.
Okay.
And then too, like, with social media, don't keep reinventing the wheel.
Got it.
Make a template
Got it.
for, like, if you wanna do a carousel post, make
Got it.
that a template, and all you have to do is change the words each week.
That makes sense.
And I know that Riverside, I don't know if they do it with all their, levels, but they have, like, where it will pull out takeaways, it will pull out
Mhm.
the AI piece. I don't know how you feel about AI, but it's in there. You don't have to use it, but it's a great starting point
Yeah.
because if you read it, maybe it'll jog something. You're like, "Oh, this is yeah.
I'm a big fan of AI.
Okay, good."
I am.
So, yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
You could even take your transcript, throw it into ChatGPT,
Mhm.
and be like, "Hey, I need to create a carousel for this."
Got it.
And if you have it trained to where it knows your brand voice,
Training.
you could even write it in your brand voice.
Yeah.
But, like, I would put some personal feeling behind it.
Yes. Yes.
Put that and make sure that's in there because that's one thing it lacks in.
Correct.
But it will also create that for you too.
Yeah.
As far as like weaving, because I love that you have a framework or you're like your method. I love, 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 love that
Mhm.
because you can weave that into every single episode.
Yes.
And by doing that, you're just reminding people of like your expertise and they can be like, oh, that's amazing. Da, 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 da. I want to work with him.
Mhm.
You could even create a mini series. Forgive me, I didn't look to see. I listened to the first one and the second one, and I spot listened to the other 2.
No worries.
You may have done this, but I know you explained the entire framework in that one episode.
Yes.
Essentially, you could create a mini series at some point, breaking down like each letter of your method
Mhm.
and just really focusing on that.
Yeah.
And then that would be a great way because then you could organically weave in that.
Mhm.
And 2, here's the thing if you don't ask people, they're not going to do it.
Right.
People like to be asked.
Right.
I like to be asked, right? Like,
Right.
hey, if this is something you're struggling with, set up a discovery call or email me or
Yeah.
send me a DM on Instagram.
Yeah.
Invite them in
Got it.
because if you make that initial open invitation for them to come to you, then they will.
Yeah.
And to ask them, like I have here, like even if the episode isn't about the framework particularly, then just like referencing it.
Mhm.
I have examples here. The storylet ties into the learn and adjust step because when things don't go as planned, that's where the real growth begins or something like that.
Yeah.
And you can also like mention it in your outro, like as you're ending it.
Yeah.
So like if you did do this, you can create playlists on Spotify. So you could have a playlist just for your method. You could have a playlist that revolves around these challenges or these tools or these resources or things like that. And you can share those too
I love that.
to bring in more people that way.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm going really fast. I'm sorry.
No,
But do you
I like
have
it.
any questions so far?
No, this is good.
Okay. Now the next one is a big one. It's going to be a little bit of a homework for you.
I love it.
So I know when I asked you, who are you talking to?
Yes.
You have people who feel stuck
Yes.
and they keep hitting the same mental. And I think this is great,
Yes.
but it's not niche down enough.
Correct.
So I have, and it's a lot, but
Yeah.
stick with me here. Like, if you answer these questions, like, it's going to give you something like this. It's going to tell you,
Mhm.
like, the age range, what they do. Because this way, if you nail it down like this, then you could literally build your episodes as if you're talking
To
to that
them.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because believe me, if you're talking to everybody, you're talking to nobody
Correct.
versus if you're
Yeah.
right. Like, if you're really focused on who you're talking to, then
Yeah.
it will really bring it in and zone in those people.
Yeah.
Because then you could technically put mindset tools for intentional growth or mindset tools for this person,
Yes.
like an entrepreneur or
Yes.
busy moms or who, whatever that may
Yes.
be, right? Like,
Mm. Crazy enough, I am currently reading .com Secrets by
mhm,
Russell Brunson, and I'm also currently building my first ClickFunnel, like, this month.
awesome.
And so as I'm reading .com Secrets, he goes through the whole thing of finding your dream customer. Today is Tuesday.
Mhm.
So Friday evening, I have the epiphany. It is the millennial Christian that has
Yes.
been in church, they feel stuck, and there's a gap between what's happening on Sunday and the rest of their life.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
So the crazy part about, I mean, not crazy part, but the podcast already, I have 10 episodes recorded right
Mhm.
now. And they are just about like this first season is just here's the simple shift method.
I
This
love
is
it.
what it is. Some deep dives, emotional intelligence, gift of failure, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, that's just first season. Most of it is done already. But I am going to make this turn to this customer, this listener, this person myself who my dad's a pastor. Yeah, my in-laws have been pastoring churches for the last 45 years.
I love it.
But people like me who legitimately like we're singing the songs, we're doing the things, and there's a gap. There's just a gap between what we confess and profess and all of that and what we live. So that just happened like 4 days ago. And I was trying to realistically like appeal to the masses because it's mindset, it can help anybody. That works when you're coaching one on one, but I have to have the niche. I have to. And I was trying not to, but I did. I went through and I was like, no, it's this person. And I had ChatGPT. I was like, this is who I want to talk to, yada, yada, yada. Create two people and a couple, pictures, the whole nine. And
Yes.
yes, this is the guy. This is the this is the girl.
Yes.
This is them. So we are making that turn for sure moving forward. And I'm very excited about that.
I love that. Then I would definitely pull in keywords Christian related. I do work with a lot of Christian podcasters. And so, like, you could pull in Jesus,
Yeah.
Christian,
Yeah.
Christianity,
Mhm.
faith based.
Yeah.
Like, those are really great keywords.
Yeah.
That would also open you up to potentially shifting categories as well.
Correct.
So, because they have, I don't have them all memorized. So, give me two shakes here.
No worries.
Because if you didn't want to niche like super down, you could, I would actually recommend you niching down.
Yeah.
Are you going to have the episodes? Like, are you going to be mentioning like faith and stuff like that? Are you going to keep it more
Um,
generalized?
season one will stay general. And then yeah, season two, I have, the world is my oyster at that point.
That's
So
right.
I will most likely niche down into season two.
Perfect.
And then, it gives me another, I don't know, 4 or 5 months of episodes that, okay, next season we can come back into parents. We can come back to
Yes.
relationships with adult friendships. I don't know. So you can essentially niche down every season because the method doesn't change, but the method, it applies everywhere. Am I biggest dream is for two different people, the Christian person and maybe the, I don't know, parents cross paths and they're like, I thought he did this. I thought he did this. He does that.
Right. I love that. So
Yeah.
maybe even niching down to that religion and spirituality slash
Yeah.
Christianity, even having that as a category.
Yeah.
You can choose 3. I always recommend having 3.
Oh,
Apple Podcasts, I don't know where the biggest portion of your listeners are, Apple, Spotify, or wherever. Apple has the first category is what it recognizes, and then all the other players are kind of they're different. I think Spotify only recognizes the first one, but a lot of the other ones will recognize all 3.
got
So
it.
just, like, more opportunities for you being super niche down.
Okay.
And then I love that because then in season 2, you could update your cover art now if you wanted to.
Hmm.
And then in season 2, you could update it again to call out
Right.
those people
Right.
you're talking to.
Right.
I think that's be really great.
I love it.
I love this. That's so awesome.
Yeah. That just happened legitimately Friday night and it just kind of just poured out and talking to my wife and I'm like, and this and this and this. And she's like, yeah, that's it. Cause it's just literally pouring out. So,
I mean, you could technically make those changes, those small tweaks now if you wanted to.
mhm,
I mean, even though, like, the main conversation won't happen in season 2,
right.
you could add the 3rd category as the
Hmm.
Christianity. You could put some of those little keywords into the podcast description itself,
Yeah.
if you wanted to start calling in those people, so that way you don't
Yeah.
have to wait till season 2. I would just always make sure that, like, when you're talking about, like, a method or a topic and how to I don't wanna say fix it, but, how to grow through it. I mean,
Hmm.
like, "This is something that I coached you," or "This is something I helped so and so with," or just kinda relate it back to what you've done in your coaching business,
Yeah.
and then that will help with, like, not being salesy, just being informative. And then, another piece of the growth, and this will be the last thing I do because I wanna be respectful of time, is that growing podcasts, yes, we can work on all this SEO discoverability stuff, is podcast guesting,
Yes.
like it being a guest, because 'cause that'll put you in front of your ideal audience.
Right.
They're not currently following you,
Right.
having conversations. So that will help your podcast grow potentially, but it also will set you up for speaking
Yes.
because then you could include those in, like, your speaker one sheet
Yeah.
of being like, "Oh, here are some examples of me guesting on a podcast and my speaking abilities," and things
Mhm.
like that.
Okay. I love that. Yeah. It's always, not always, but the last, I guess, 3 years have kind of been, it's like, I know I can coach. I know I can teach. I know I can do a workshop. I know I can speak. I know I can write a book, obviously a podcast. Like, how do I pull this
All together.
into 3 sentences if I had to? And this is huge. This is
Mhm.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah,
I really appreciate this. This is, yes. My wife is about to not hear the end of this.
I love it. I would also I know that you have it in your is the interest form, is that for coaching?
In the form itself, it has the drop down. So if it's workshop, if it's one-on-one
Okay.
speaking engagement, all of those things are there.
I would actually pull that out too and put that in your
Put it in
footer.
the, okay. Heck yeah.
That way you can say down in the description below, you'll find all the links to contact me. "Hey, if you wanna work through coaching on this with me, click the link below. We'll set that up for you," or something like that, right?
Yeah, there's a moment in these situations where I'm like, where's the moment where I'm gonna freak out and be like, "Oh, but can I do that?" And you just did it. You just did the part that I'm now afraid to do, which is the thing that I should do before I go back upstairs and tell my family I'm done.
Yes.
Um,
You do it.
this is good. I love a good challenge, and that is more intimidating than the content.
You've got this, though. I mean, look what you wrote a book. Not everybody can say that. So,
That's true.
do you have any other questions?
No, ma'am. I do not. I have no questions.
Okay. All right. So there you have it. Behind the scenes look at a real coaching session that turned podcast overwhelm into clarity and action steps. Because here's the thing, growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens by taking intentional, consistent steps that align with your goals. If this episode sparked some ideas or gave you that nudge you needed to keep moving forward, I'd love to hear from you. Hit that follow button so you don't miss any upcoming episodes. And hey, if you have your own podcasting question, be sure to click the link in the description below. Did you enjoy this coaching session? Follow Rafer's podcast, Shifts and Giggles. I will put all of his links below and some exciting news to look forward to. Rafer is coming back to the show in September for another coaching session where we'll check in on his growth, brainstorm what tweaks, if any, we can implement to take his podcast to the next level. And if you're ready to get your own podcast coaching session, just like Rafer did, click the link in the description below to book yours today. And don't forget, if you're ready to launch or relaunch your podcast in a way that's strategic, seamless, and sustainable, well, you're in luck. Grab my Seamless Podcast Launch Roadmap and Private Podcast. It's your step-by-step guide to launching a podcast that grows your business without the overwhelm. Until next time, keep it consistent, keep it aligned, and keep it seamless. Bye for now.